Hello and welcome to episode 53 of Dorki's Entropia Universe report. In this episode you can expect Dorki, and even more Dorki. So by all means do not let Dorki stop you from enjoying your daily dosage of Dorki. By the way, I am just joking. I have not gone completely bonkers yet. What I did do, however, is cut back on canned food a little bit. You get some extra bonus points if you remember why. I mentioned it in the last week's episode. And while we are on the topic of my extremely perceptive self, confusing his own finger for a pork chop, I am happy to announce that my finger has almost completely healed itself in the week and a half since that particular accident. I was very surprised at the speed of my recovery. Any scratches and small cuts I suffered as a kid and young adult healed fast, but then diabetes happened and my recovery times went way up, even for small scratches that barely broke the skin. I am talking about a simple scratch taking weeks to just stop being an irritating, semi-open wound and month or two to heal completely. So I was naturally afraid of what will happen with this deeper cut. Turns out that the 2 years I have been on metformin are finally paying off. My bruises were still not healing well during the first couple months of 2020, so the sudden massive change for the better just few months later was a pleasant surprise. By the way, when I said that diabetes happened, I meant that it crept in undetected and was getting progressively worse for well over a decade, thanks to a doctor who did not do her job properly and ignored most of the symptoms in favor of her pet project of hooking up just about everyone with some blood pressure medication. Anyway, I will not bother you with further details. Let's get into the Entropia Universe stuff now. I spent most of the week sweating weak penelions and hunting plagues. I still plan to release my plague hunting footage as separate series of videos, so I will not go into much detail on my progress towards the 10,000 rare plague wing mission. What I have to admit to, though, is that I went mental for a bit on Friday night. That state of my mind lasted until Sunday morning. By going mental, I mean that I started trying to sell my rare plague wing stash. Luckily, nobody bought it before I packed my stuff and left the planet on Sunday afternoon. So I can just come back later, pretend that poop never happened, and get on with the mission without starting over from the scratch. By the way, if you are asking yourself why I am suddenly using the word poop instead of my all-time favorite term starting with an S, do not worry. I will explain myself shortly. The reason is quite simple. I have decided to cut back on the vulgar words a little bit and instead use terms that I think YouTube might take less of an issue with. At the same time, I still want to say those things. And since I always or almost always write my commentary beforehand, I can just replace less polite expressions with suitable substitute words and phrases. Although I guess that at least some of those will get picked up by YouTube's algorithm and come back to penetrate my own rear entrance anyway. Nonetheless, I will at least give it a try. Anyway, I did a little tour of the universe after I left Cyrene yesterday. I flew over to Calypso to sell some stuff for extra ped and ended up spending way more than I got for a small carbine called Cold Ear. I bought one with tier 4.6 for roughly TT plus 107 ped. I have to say though that I am not maxed out on it, as it is one of those old school unlimited guns that max out on level 100. I would not recommend using those sorts of weapons to anyone below the level of at least 85 to 90 in the appropriate hit profession. However, I sometimes use these sorts of weapons for fun. I will get into more details on the old school weapons and their drawbacks in future videos. I already recorded a rather long hunt where I was using that carbine last night, and I plan to either make it into a series or at least condense it down into several separate videos. Come to think of it, I might actually condense the Plague series down to fewer videos as well. Every hunt takes hours upon hours, and if I wanted to come up with commentary that would keep at least some people interested for the whole duration of it, I would never catch up to the latest stuff. It is much easier to hunt plagues for 4 hours every day than to come up with 4 hours of semi-consistent commentary in a week. Let's get back to my tour of the universe for a moment though. After a short visit to Calypso, I flew over to Arcadia Moon to pick up a friend and fly him to Tulan. Once there, I was tempted to stay by the tap-taps. I had the urge to swant them for a while, so I relogged on my old computer ready to go play Disco Elysium as I swant those little plushies. I would have given you a few guesses as to what happened when I tried to log in, but I am feeling like a donkey hole today, so I will just tell you right away. The game kept crashing after the loading screen, and I could not find a way to get around it. I tried safe mode, windowed, full screen, and even unticking the 64-bit option. Nothing helped. It is not the computer itself. I had no issues running Entropia on that computer on other planets. Tulan was the first place where this sort of a thing happened to me. So I took a short break and then logged back in on my main computer and blew the planet for next island, where I did not stay all that much longer either. The place looks rather nice now with stuff to keep players occupied, and I even saw a sweating circle on some Screecher birds. But the daily mission I wanted to try out turned out to be a bit too much of a slog with the Cold Ear, and I did not bring any bigger weapons with me. So off to Arcadia I went, with the goal to finish the stage 6 on Oro once again. I want to boost my rifle skill some more to hasten the commando unlock. I am roughly 21% of a level away from the unlock after last night's Oro hunt. With little luck I will manage not to go broke before I finish the stage 6. I still have nearly 20,000 kill points to go, which is about 15 to 2000 Oro depending on the distribution of maturities I happen to come across on my remaining hunts. I think I should get to within 15 to 17% of a level from Commando by the time I finish the mission. The reward of 12 pad of rifle skill might actually be enough to push me over at that point, although nothing serious happens if it is not. I will just go back to Cyrene to continue my Plague mission anyway. Few hunts on those and I will grind up any remaining skills needed for the level up. I can get about 1% progress in my laser sniper profession per 150 pad hunt on Plagues with the TT carbine. I think I have been yapping on about the hunting for a bit too long already. I should probably talk some more about other ways I am going to let Luteus turn me into his personal pegging gimp. But nah, I do not plan to do any mining over this week anyway, and I do not have enough liquid pad for crafting at the moment either. So let's get to the deed and share payouts for the last week. Which reminds me, I forgot to log in and record the deed payout footage for this episode. I guess I will have to wait for the Oro Hunt footage to finish rendering and go record that stuff before I can continue writing this episode. I will be right back. Not that you will notice my absence at all thanks to the wonders of editing. I am not quite sure why in the actual animalistic mating ritual I even keep writing as I wait for the damn video to render. Anyway, I am running my recorded footage through the editing software to reduce the file sizes a bit. I started running out of space on my hard drive months ago. There are too many Entropia Universe videos crowding both my computers now, as well as a rather sizable collection of let's call them documentaries on human reproduction. I really need to get my act together and convert all that Entropia footage into actual YouTube-worthy videos. That is how it has to be. I am not willing to part ways with my videos of humans mating. I guess I could buy additional hard drive too. But meh. That would only lead to more and more procrastinating with the processing of the video game recordings, waiting for their time to shine. Anyway, the video segment finally finished rendering. So let's get into those payouts now. After I actually log in and record the stuff, of course. Be right back. Alright, I am back and the news on Ancient Greece shares is not good. There are still more than 666,000 of them up for grabs at the base price of 10 pet per share. If they follow the same pattern as Arcadia Mundites and only become tradable between players after the original batch sells out completely, then everyone who bought larger amounts will have their pad stuck and unavailable for a long time. The fact that Ancient Greece shares did not pay anything this week does not help that either. Hopefully, the lack of payouts will not go on for as long as the last time. At least the Crystal Palace shares did pay out, and quite decently. CP shares paid out 3 PEG per share today on Monday 1st of June 2020. I really like how much they have been paying out lately. Let's hope they continue to do so in perpetuity. I know they will not, but one can hope. Anyway, the cheapest stack of Crystal Palace shares available on the market today was priced at 18 pet and 58 pack. The news is pretty much universally good for the Arcadia Moon deeds and Arcadia Underground deeds though. While they still have not sold out in the webshop, they did pay out 4 times over the week from Monday 25th of May to Monday 1st of June 2020. Each of the payouts was for 1 pack only, but it is still a rather decent performance for the Arcadia Moon deeds. They usually pay out only once or twice per week. I think the reason behind the more frequent payouts lately might be the Smuggler event spawn. Hopefully it keeps up and they finally sell out in the webshop and become tradable in-game. I personally only own 5 Arcadia Moon deeds and do not plan on selling them when they become tradable. But I am sure there are many people with hundreds or even thousands of those deeds who are eager to free up that ped. Either way, Arcadia Underground deeds paid out 5 times over the week, with 2 payouts being for 2 pack per deed and remaining 3 payouts giving 1 pack per deed. So Arcadia Underground deeds seem to keep paying out fairly consistently, and well. To conclude, Crystal Palace shares, Arcadia Moon deeds and Arcadia Underground deeds all gave decent payouts for the week. Meanwhile, Ancient Greece shares continue to be a dud for now. I really do hope that changes. I got 800 ped invested in them after all, but I kind of doubt their payout history will improve much in the immediate future. Perhaps few content updates down the lines. On the bright side, I should be able to unlock Commando fairly quickly now that I am actually hunting with a rifle, or rather a carbine, and working on that Oro Stage 6 mission once again. I mean, given a much higher budget and a decent weapon on my level, I could unlock Commando today. But let's be realistic here. I do not want to put that kind of money into Entropia Universe right now. Maybe never. I enjoy a slow, somewhat reasonable and semi-smart gameplay far more than dumping money into the game and getting pegged from behind for all of it in few hours. There is way too many people complaining about bad loot lately for me to even consider taking the risk and hunt on my level. But when I stick to Punies, I get roughly 96% return overall, which could potentially be enough for a break even or a profit. So yeah, I will go back to Pleaks or some other puny or very small mob once I am done with the Stage 6 Oro. Anyway, thank you for watching or listening if you managed to stick with me till the end. I hope you are doing well and wish you a pleasant rest of the day. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you.